these cops found what a service weapons or whatever whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Knowing dang well the guns was loaded or whatever whatnot. One police officer, pointed a gun at, the fellow officer in the garage or whatever. And the other officer shot him right in the shoulder or whatever whatnot. For real though, I'm like, oh my goodness, they playing with loaded guns up in, the parking lot of the precinct. That's crazy. The dude who shot got, that shot the officer got fired or whatever. But the officer that, pulled his gun on him or whatever whatnot did not get fired. That's the crazy, but shoot, that's some crazy stuff right there. Real though. That's on real, but yeah. Anyway, just candidate of the school board end up using AI to actually show black supporters or whatever whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Went to a press pride and only two black supporters was with him and took a picture with him, but he wanted more black supporters. So he used AI to you know what I'm saying, put black supporters in the photo or whatever whatnot. That's on bro. Anyway, the kid that burned the cross up in Chicago, and he was try to actually get a protest going or whatever, for the president and all that, that's saying against him or whatever whatnot. For real though. But he didn't study what that represents or whatever, because the Ku Klux Klan do that to intimidate black people or whatever, and he thought it intimidate the people that's actually messing the United States up. Yeah, he got confused on that, and that's on bro. Anyway, so this dude attacked a 9-year-old black boy for no reason, or because he yeah, he was racist, a racist dude or whatever whatnot. He called the boy racist word and pushed him and threw his bike. He threw the boy's bike away or whatever. This man got arrested and for charged for hate crime or whatever whatnot. They released this man and you know what I'm saying, it was crazy. It was crazy ever. They didn't even detain this man or nothing like that afterwards or anything like that. And that's some crazy stuff, and that's on bro. Anyway, so this transporter for the police end up getting arrested or whatever whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Because he left the traffic stop or whatever whatnot. And for real though, I mean I never experienced that or whatever whatnot, because I wasn't driving or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean shoot, I'm just giving it a buck. You know what I'm saying? I mean I wasn't even driving. I was just in the back seat or whatever whatnot. You know what I mean? For real. But anyway, the cop took a long time, took hours and hours and hours to look up his identification or whatever whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I already know how it goes and that shit. For real though, I mean because I already know how cops get down or whatever whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Dude didn't run away because he was impatient. because he had a whole bunch of stuff to do. But that's the thing, like, you know what I'm saying? Once, like, you know, cops, like, stop you or whatever, whatnot, it's gonna take hours for them to do stuff or whatever, whatnot, you know what I mean? For real. Anyway, she said she stopped him because he was speeding and his, like, you know, the back of his, like, you know, the plate of the back of his car was covered up or whatever, whatnot. And, like, he was, like, trying to be polite or whatever, whatnot, and stuff like that. But he didn't want to, like, you know, wait for hours and stuff like that. He was just trying to arrest the cop or whatever and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? For real, though. So, he just, like, you know, told her to follow him or whatever one night, like, you know what I'm saying? And she didn't want to follow him or nothing like that. So she, like, you know, actually followed him to his like, you know, apartment or whatever one night. You know what I'm saying? It was in the driveway and all that stuff because, like, he wasn't gonna, like, do nothing, like, you know, crazy or nothing like that, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, because he gave her his, like, you know, driver's license or whatever whatnot, and, like, she said, like, what's that the right, like, address on the driver's license? He said no. He said he about to, like, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, show proof that, like, you know, the car that he had was going to the other, like, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, place that he stayed at or whatever whatnot. For real. So yes, it was, like, it took hours and hours and hours. He was up there trying to rush it or whatever whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Because he had stuff to do or whatever whatnot. You know what I'm saying? You know, when he left that, like, you know, traffic stop or whatever. You know what I'm saying? She called back up or whatever whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And stuff escalated from there. You know what I'm saying? He said, get the supervisor in here. That didn't happen. That didn't help him at all. Because, like, yeah, once that, like, you know, you go talk to them or whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's like a done deal, you know what I'm saying? For real, though. Anyway, gang, I mean, like, so they just, like, you know, actually put hands on this man or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And it was crazy as ever. For real, though. And, like, you know what I'm saying? They, like, you know, like, actually just being rough with him or whatever, hurting his hand and all that stuff. And, you know what I'm saying? They, like, you know, end up slamming them down on the ground or whatever, whatnot. Broke his leg. Oh my goodness, it was crazy. It was crazy as ever. And they, like, you know, placed some bogus charges on him. For real though. They placed some bogus charges on him. He didn't do nothing wrong. They placed, like, you know what I'm saying, disorderly conduct and a battery on the police officer. He never battered the police officer. The police was battering him. That's about it. And that's on bro. I don't know. Anyway. Now, there's, like, you know, all 5 of these cops, they end up jumping this dude. For no reason. Because, like, somebody called the police because this man was at a CVS, like, you know, place or whatever, trying to get his medication. And I think he was talking to somebody in a pool or whatever. And the person freaked out because dude was trying to open the car door or whatever. I think he was trying to, like, you know, sit in the car and, like, just have a, like, conversation with the dude or whatever. This dude said this man was trying to steal his car or whatever. And the police came, all 5 of them just jumped him. Well, they didn't, like, you know, say, you know, common questions or, like, you know, talk to him, like, you know what I'm saying, as a civilized person. They beat the dog stuff out of him. I'm telling you, it's, like, crazy as ever. And they, like, you know, arrested him or whatever. And they just kneed him all up in the face, like, you know, punching him up there saying, stop resisting, stop resisting, stop resisting, stop resisting. Well, them picked him up. You know what I'm saying? He was up there crying from the, like, you know, stuff that he went through or whatever. And one of them mocked him or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And, like, shoot, he was, like, you know, let go or whatever, you know what I'm saying? when, like, the prosecutor and them, like, saw what happened on that, like, body cam or whatever went up, they dropped the charges on him. For real though. And, like, he was suing them or whatever. And they, like, just gave this man, like, $750,000. $750,000 or whatever went up. You know what I'm saying? For real though. That was like like something else or whatever went up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, it was a good thing, you know what I'm saying? But for real though, I mean, like, shoot, I'm just like, hoping that he, like, enjoy that money for real though, because, like, yeah, fortunately, this dude died in a car crash. For real though, I'm like, dang, that's messed up. That's on, bro. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, hit the bell on notification so you can see my next upload and my next post, and make sure I make it known tomorrow. And oh yeah, you can check out my previous videos if you like it. So long, farewell, goodbye.